Okay, 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 okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike, Sam, Pat. These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you want to support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shields. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks. Becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike, Sam, Pat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.
The same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth, and when the sun was up they were scorched, and because they had no root they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they, seeing, see not, and hearing, they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Esaias, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. Another parable spake he unto them, The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Then Jesus sent the multitude away, and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchantman seeking goodly pearls, who when he hath found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had, and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth, and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jesus saith unto them, Have ye understood all these things? They say unto him, Yea, Lord. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. Chapter 12. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit. The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand. A man shall be commended according to his wisdom, but he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised. He that is despised and hath a servant is better than he that honoureth himself and lacketh bread. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. The wicked desireth the net of evil men, but the root of the righteous yieldeth fruit. The wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips, but the just shall come out of trouble. A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be unto tribute. Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death.
Hello. Welcome to Toronto Bible Study. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Real Truth in the house. Hello, sir. Yes, that's true. I agree. Yeah, that's true. Hello. Hi, Liliana. Yeah, he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. Amen. Got some good scriptures. Thanks, Angela. Hey, Typical. God bless. God bless. Hey, Savile. God bless you, man. Phony Earshot. What's up, Maga? Maga. Hey, DZ. What's up, bro? Both are wicked. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's part of what we're going to talk about today. Like, I wasn't even keeping track of the election because I pretty much figured Trump would win. The only thing I was a little bit worried about was I thought that they might try to pull something like last time when they basically rigged it, quote unquote. Like I think they rigged them all, but last time they rigged it and they kind of rigged it publicly where everybody kind of knew. You could just watch the news and realize that they did rig it, right? So they're telling you that they rigged it, you know? So I thought maybe they would do it again this time, and then there would be like fighting or something. I thought it was possible, but I didn't think. I mean, I mainly thought that Trump was just going to win, and it's because they want you to think, Trump won, now the good guys won. Now we're gonna now he's kind of Christian or he's on the right wing or whatever, so we're gonna have a normal life again or whatever. But it's not, man. It's not. Yeah, the shilly system, bro. Remember, guys, all politicians are corrupt and wicked and selected. Don't get caught in the stare. That's right. Presidents are not elected. They are selected, right? According to a president, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Yeah, I have some notes actually, yeah, but it's not like, I don't know. Anyway. So what are we gonna do first? Okay, we're talking about the election, right? So let's look at some of the kind of mainstream news about the election, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So let me just get this stuff ready. Okay. I don't know. What do you think? CNN? Let's see what CNN has to say about this. Yeah, the assassination attempt so fake. Battles from the Mar-a-Lago patio. How Trump staffing has already turned into a war. The staffing, right? A boy in Trump believes he has mandate to hit the ground running as he revels behind closed doors. They're so the way see how they phrase it, like they make it seem like he's like, oh, he's just a crazy person. He's reveling behind the closed doors because he won, you know. Like, of course he's happy he won, you know. Anyway, I knew he'd win, but didn't know it was today. Yeah, no, I didn't even know it was today until like yesterday. I dislike both sides. Yeah, I agree. I will say Trump at least know how to run properly, unlike Kamala, but he's still wicked. Yeah. Yeah, it's gaslighting. It totally is gaslighting. Yeah, I'm not even American, but Canada, they have a lot of I mean Canada, I mean, we're basically like a client state of America. Like you're like what do they call it? Like the vassal state, you know what I mean? So anything that happens in America is big news over here for sure. Yeah. Brothers, amen. Anyway, let's read this article and see what's happening. A boy in Trump believes, hang on a sec. A boy in Trump believes he has a mandate to hit the ground running as he revels behind closed doors. Donald Trump walks off stage after speaking during an election night event in West Palm Beach. See how they do the triangle with the eye? See how they do that? That's on purpose, you know? This whole symbolism here. And it's blue and red. Blue and red. And I think his tie is red and his jacket's kind of bluish. This is all on purpose. You notice here how it's like purple light, but the drapes are blue, right? But the light is purple. Because they're showing you all this Freemason colors, you know? But anyway, let's check this out. President-elect Donald Trump. Hang on, let me just make it bigger. President-elect Donald Trump is reveling in his victory and the subsequent celebration, being described as having a much different mentality than he did in 2017, and feeling like his popular vote win gives him a mandate as he speaks with world leaders, top aides and allies, business CEOs, and his transition team. Sources who have spoken to Trump see when it says it gives him a mandate, that means like, okay, he won the popular vote this time, right? Which apparently, according to the polls last time or in 2016, he did not win that, right? But now he's won it. So the popular vote, he's saying that means it gives him a mandate. That means it's like the people have given him they've given him the permission to do whatever he pleases, kind of thing. That's the idea when they give him a mandate. Sources who have spoken to Trump in the last 24 hours describe him as forward-looking and grateful. He has lavished praise on his campaign co-chairs, Susie Wiles, who Trump named as his White House chief of staff. Okay, on Thursday evening. Trump has boasted about his numbers with minority voters and winning the popular vote, sometimes with disbelief, and asked what they need to do to get started on some of his agenda items. One person described the president-elect as in a completely different headspace than when he was entering office in 2017. With some sources, he talked about some of the various events that would be occurring under his presidency, including the World Cup and Olympics. Oh, the World Cup's coming up? Oh, that's interesting. With another, he marveled at the positivity and flattery he has received in calls from the more than a dozen foreign leaders with whom he has spoken. He feels like he's getting the respect and recognition he deserves. Okay. Let me see comments here. Hey, what's up, Broders. Yo, I'm a little behind. Gonna watch on 2 times to catch that. That's all right. Both parties are Freemason, red and blue colors. Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, King's Table. God bless you, sir. Not sure who you are, but good to see you as well. God bless you. In the 2016 election, Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton, and he repeatedly claimed falsely that he had won it. Trump, I mean, they're trying to say they repeatedly claimed falsely that Biden won it last time. It's such a joke. Anyway, Trump then took office in January 2017 amid an FBI investigation into Russian election interference that he believed threatened his legitimacy and would eventually lead to the appointment of a special counsel who investigated Trump for the first half of his presidency. See how they do this thing? See how CNN is so biased, the way they tell the story? Anyway, now Trump is ahead in the popular vote by more than 4 million votes and feels like he's coming into office with a clear runway to enact the policies he ran on, sources close to the president-elect said. He's talking about how Americans want his policies and what he needs to do to get that done, one source who has spoken to the president-elect said. Trump has been locked down at his Florida club, taking calls. That's Mar-a-Lago, I guess, taking calls, meeting sporadically with donors, and mingling with guests on the patio. Ex-owner Elon Musk and Trump recently spent time there together, and the mega billionaire brought some of his children to stay with him. The president-elect even took time on Wednesday to show the kids around before Musk left later in the day. During one conversation, Trump joked that he thought Musk should serve in his cabinet, but that he knew Musk would never go for it, a source familiar with the conversation said. Trump has enjoyed phone calls with several foreign leaders, including some whom he remained in contact with after leaving the White House, who similarly praised his electoral win, according to a source familiar with the president-elect's disposition. We need Trump in Canada. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. The head vaccine mandate guy. I did get a laugh at the Kamala voters. I know, it's so sad. So sad and funny though. I listen as often as I can. I've seen you, Charles Belanger saying, "Oh, that's nice. Thanks, man. Thanks, King's Table." You're Canada. You're Canadian, eh? That's cool, man. Are you from my side, or you're probably from the west side, eh? Let's see. Trump missed his standing 9 p.m. dinner reservation at his Mar-a-Lago resort Wednesday night, which advisors said was because he was taking calls and gearing up for what is likely to be a grueling next week. Trump's priority is to finalize his cabinet and senior White House staff, and the second wave is to sort deputy secretaries. Okay. The president-elect has told his team he wants to sign off on every position. That's a lot of signing. One source close to Trump said he is taking the responsibility of choosing top positions much more seriously than he did the first time around. That's good. I mean, obviously this is all just an illusion. I guess, yeah. Well, I don't know. I was going to talk about it and kind of like, oh, that's good. He's got experience. Now he'll pick better advisors, but it's all just a bunch of shills, so whatever. That was genuine. What, the thing about the Freemasons? Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree with you, man. Did you see what I was saying before? Or no, first, last. First, I thought it was real truth. First, last. That was genuine. Someone horked our clothes. Anyway, I'm not. Oh, you're from Manitoba? That's cool, man. Winnipeg? Or maybe not. If you were from Winnipeg, you would have said Winnipeg, right? But you're probably from some other place. But that's cool. So he's taking the top positions more seriously, the choosing of them. He told his people close to him that he made mistakes during his first term with his hiring decisions, and he wants to make sure he is picking people who are competent but also loyal to him. That would seem like an obvious thing, but he feels strongly that in 2016 he allowed people who were around him and knew more about DC to make decisions for him. He's far more involved now. Top executive orders being prepared that he specifically weighed in on includes open energy exploration, such as removing caps and provisions that prevent companies from drilling. He's also plotting cuts to energy regulations. Honestly, like this type of thing, I'm okay with this because I don't even believe in climate change, and I would prefer if America was energy independent. Like America actually has they have the oil resources, right, to be completely independent of foreign oil imports. You know, like at this time, they're kind of dependent on like, excuse me, on like the Saudis and the Russians and people like that who have lots of oil, but they actually have enough oil in America to not be dependent on them, you know? And they kind of are independent, but they're like also because of the way the market is right now, you still have this massive influence from Saudis and Russia and people like that. So I want America to ramp that up so that they no longer have that problem. No, you said A. Yeah, the A. Yeah, that's the genuine A, my friends. I'm a Canadian, true and true. Bob and Doug, sorry. Bob and Doug. Yeah, I remember Bob and Doug. About an hour south of Winnipeg. Oh, that's nice. I've been to Tim Hortons. Nice. Timmy's. All right. Popular win, vote win changes everything. Trump campaign advisor Jason Miller told CNN that Trump's expected victory with the popular vote changes everything, arguing it gives the president-elect confidence to enact his agenda without fear of alienating a broad swath of the country. Anyway, so this is just the standard stuff that they do when the guy wins. Okay, so all the kind of like housekeeping stuff that they do when they win, that's what that is, right? But I thought, you know what would be interesting? I thought to read something more from the kind of alternative news media, because it's all like what they're doing is they're setting up this thing where the left and the right hate each other, right? And I guess they've been doing that for a long time, but they're making it worse and worse and pushing that divide further and further. And part of it is where on the right they're basically introducing conspiracy theories, so that they blame stuff like elite pedophiles and stuff like that. They'll blame it on the left. You know, they'll say, "Oh, the Democrats, they're the ones with the elite pedophiles." You know, because they'll say that Pizzagate was all about Hillary Clinton and those guys that, you know, those guys like the who are those guys? Anyway, they tied the Pizzagate thing to the left, right, to the Democrats, right? But Pizzagate was just like a fake thing that they did. They did it because people were kind of wising up to the whole elite pedophile thing. So they were like, okay, let's do this. Let's set this up. Let's set up a little thing, and then we'll make it get big on the right, and then we'll make them look stupid. So they did this Pizzagate thing. But the Pizzagate, the way it is, like the little breadcrumbs that they dropped for it, right? It actually, if you explain it to somebody, they're just like, "What are you talking about? This is mental," you know. But if you actually look at the evidence, then it's like, "Whoa, this is weird, dude. Like, what?" So if you think it's legit, these emails are really being sent by Hillary Clinton or whatever. That's the evidence they have for Pizzagate, right? Like these emails that were released by WikiLeaks, you know. So they released the emails from WikiLeaks, and then people were like, "Whoa, this is crazy," you know. But when you tell somebody, like if you look at the emails, then you'll be like, "Whoa, this is nuts," you know. If you believe that it's really them, then you'll be like, "Wow, this is great. They're elite pedophiles. They really are." And then, if you look at this, not just the emails, there's other evidence like this guy's, like that guy from Comet Ping Pong Pizza, his like Twitter page and stuff like that, right? All this stuff was it looked just really bad, right? But then if you're on the left now and somebody from the right is just telling you this stuff, it sounds like they're insane. It sounds like, what are you talking about? So she had an email about sacrificing a chicken to Moloch, and you're trying to tell me that means that they're satanic pedophiles, you know? So it sounds dumb, right? So that's what they call it, limited hangout. The Secret Service agencies will, or it's not Secret Service, the secret like state agencies like CIA and stuff, they'll release information to kind of actually cover up the thing that they're actually doing. Yeah. So anyway, that's Pizzagate. Anyway, so what the point of what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to set up this thing where on the right you have all these conspiracy theorists that are like, "Oh, we got to get rid of these pedophile elites and get Trump in, and then he'll defeat the Great Reset or whatever, you know. And then on the left, they're just like, what are these guys talking about? These guys are mental, and these guys don't believe in climate change and all this stuff. So on the left, they're just like, these people are insane. And on the right, they're like, what are these people doing? They're following around with these elite pedophiles. What are they doing, right? So then the left and the right, from each of their perspectives, it looks like logically like these people on the other side are complete idiots, and they're irrational, and they can't even be trusted to even vote properly, you know? So it's like they're pushing the sides further and further apart. And yeah. So, well, okay. Now this is the thing. So you're gonna say that the lunatic was the only fake part, and that the Pizzagate stuff was real, right? But I'm saying this is what I'm suggesting to you, King Stable, that elite pedophile thing is bigger than Pizzagate, much bigger. It's like I'm talking about like industrial scale, literal like kids being like literally farmed and stuff. You know, that's what I think is going on. And then the Pizzagate thing is just this thing that they released it just to make us look bad for even talking about stuff like that, you know? That's my opinion about it. You don't have to necessarily believe me, but yeah, I know they won't. Yeah, after that incident, then it looked like as soon as that guy went to Comet Ping Pong and tried to shoot up the place, then everyone was like, "Oh, these people are insane." And so if you bring up that idea anywhere in any kind of polite circles, you just look like a crazy person. That was the goal of the whole thing. You know what I'm trying to say? But anyway, I think the character of Donald Trump is going to get killed off. They're going to stage his death like other celebs, and the assassin is going to be a liberal. It's going to be an all-out war between parties. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So there's still that possibility, right? Like, excuse me, because they're obviously trying to create this divide between the left and the right, and they're trying to create conflict between those two groups, right? And so what Real Truth is saying is, which I was saying to you earlier, they might just rig the election or make it look like it was rigged or whatever, and then make Kamala win, and then on the right, people will be like, no, they rigged the last election, they're not going to let them rig it again, then they'll be fighting, right? But so that didn't happen, which I didn't think it was that likely, but I knew it was a possibility. But now we're here. So is it possible that they're going to actually have a real assassination, quote unquote, of Trump, where he actually dies, quote unquote, and then start a war over that? Maybe. But I think it's more likely that they're probably, I think what happened, in my opinion, it's like they tried to play their cards with the whole the pandemic, and then that didn't work, right? People were just like, a lot of people obviously fell for it for a long time, but eventually people were just like, whoa, this is weird, and the shot is weird, all this stuff is weird, you know? So more and more people are just like, no. And now at this point, now there's lots of people who think it was all dumb, even if at the time they took their shot or whatever. Now they're looking back and they're like, that was terrible, that was dumb. So more and more people, that's why Trump had this kind of landslide victory, right? More and more people are sick and tired of that stuff, and they think that the left is just trying to take their freedom and all this stuff. And so, but my point was just that because that gambit kind of failed, right? The whole world lockdown thing that failed, right? So now they're like, okay, let's take it down a notch, and let's give them Trump, and let them think that they're winning on the right. Let them think that they're gonna have their little thing, and then when you like, it'll just lull them into a false sense of security. But what they always do, what you'll find they always do, is they take 2 steps to the left and then they take 1 step right. So they'll go far to the left. Whenever a leftist gets into office, they'll go far over to the left. And then when the rightist gets into office, he'll just make a little step back to the right, and you're just like, oh well, okay, that's good. And then when the next election or whatever, the leftist gets back in, they'll go far over to the right, you know? Like, think about when Obama ran, he was against gay marriage. He was against it. Can you imagine that? And by the time this guy left office, they were talking about, oh, we have to let the transgenders go in the bathroom and all this stuff. Like, can you think about that? How crazy that is? But that's what they do. That's what they do. When Obama was running, people were like, yeah, he's all right. He's not no, he's not gonna try gay marriage and stuff. And then as soon as he got in, he just completely flipped. And then they give you Trump for one thing, one election, or one kind of thing, and then they go back to Biden. And then now they have the right, the right in America, they're basically liberals now. They're not like they used to be. They're so far to the left of what they were back when. Again, look at the right back when Obama was running. Look at their platform, and look at the platform of the rightists now. And we can't forget that Mr. Trump was the number one advocate of the shots. He was the number one shot proponent. And he was right on board with all that, because he is not our friend. He's on their side. He's one of them. But anyway, so Zero Hedge is a kind of like alternative website, but they're not. They're just shills too, obviously, right? But we're just gonna read this because these are the guys that are kind of like, if you're on the right, you might read this because you think CNN and Fox and stuff are too commercial. You might go to someone like this. So I was reading part of this. It's kind of interesting. So I'll just read it to you and we'll talk about it. So there's a possibility of Obama fake being gay just for whatever they plan while in office. Fake being gay. That's hilarious. I wonder if that's what it is. That's what it is. That'd be funny. Woke bloodbath. Okay, leftist movements are paying the price for their arrogance, right? So they're trying to say that the reason the left won is because they were too woke. Get woke, go broke, right? So if you thought Kamala Harris was a sure win in 2024, then you haven't been paying attention to the epic shift in the cultural zeitgeist over the past few years. Whoa, what's happening here? The thing that bothers me most about political and social analysis is dealing with people who foolishly assume nothing ever changes. Things change all the time. People can and do learn from the past. Nothing is hopeless, and nihilists are lazy and incompetent. Okay. For example, since 2020, within liberty movement circles, there's been a contingent of naysayers claiming that red states were being subversively turned blue by leftists relocating during the pandemic. My argument was that this was an idiotic take. Yeah, so that's true. A lot of people were saying that, how there are all these like California people were moving to like Texas and Florida and stuff because California was going so woke. And then so people were like, oh, now Texas and Florida are gonna go blue because all these California people moved there. But actually, no, it was like a complete landslide. Florida's done, man. Florida's so red now. I would view Trump and the shot a bit differently. I don't think Trump knew and he was being lied to. Well, I mean, I understand that sentiment, but I'm more of a conspiracy type where I think Trump is certainly well aware. Yeah, I know, even Miami, bro. Because people aren't stupid, but they're. I mean, I'm not saying. I don't know. Anyway, yes, there were mass relocations across the U.S., but all the data showed the vast majority of these people were conservatives seeking to escape blue state tyranny. Okay, so we know that Florida was a landslide for conservatives. A Trump victory was inevitable, along with the conservative mandate. Well, look what they say. Look what he's talking about. That's why leftists, the sea change in America's society was evident. That's why leftists and globalists will continue to use mob actions, economic disaster, and geopolitical crisis to burn America to the ground. They know their time is quickly running out, and if they can't control the country, they'll try to torch it. Which, I mean, this is the kind of rhetoric that we do see on the right, or on the right, right, with these type of people, right? So this is what they're doing. They're trying to make it seem as if these people on the left are like insane animals, and you can't even like, you know, you can't even like live with them. Yeah, right. This guy's, I swear, I don't know, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, bro, but that's funny. Regardless of what you might think of the candidates or the election in general, the fact of the matter is this election was a resounding rejection by Americans of the woke ideology and the political left. Yeah, that's true. But obviously, the thing is, the woke ideology and the political left, they're so insanely leftist weirdos, right? That like any sane person is going to be like, no, that's ridiculous, you know? Why do you want to give little kids beta blockers or whatever, you know, all this dumb stuff that they're giving them, like puberty blockers or whatever, and they want to do like, it's just, they're just insane. Like they're completely insane, right? So that's why nobody's gonna go for that. But does that mean that the right is like legit? No, but we'll see. The Democrats have embraced woke cultism, and they embraced globalist authoritarianism, and now they pay the price. Kamala Harris's embarrassing defeat is the ultimate expression of get woke, go broke, is undeniable. No one likes the progressive left. No one likes their race grifting. No one likes their gay and trans grifting. No one likes their targeting of children for indoctrination. No one likes their censorship agenda, their open borders, their lying, and their elitism. Their movement is dead in the water, and a lot of them are bewildered as to what happened. I'm here to explain some of the biggest reasons why they are universally despised. Okay, let's go. The COVID coup. Americans are pissed about the Democrat globalist attempt to establish a medical tyranny, and they aren't going to forget what happened. Yeah, this is the type of thing, man. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, did this thing happen under the left? You know, did this COVID thing? I mean, it didn't start with them, right? It kind of, I guess they ended it or whatever. But like, this whole thing, the COVID tyranny, was under the auspices of Donald Trump. You know. Only a couple years ago, Democrats and leftist governments around the world were talking about vaccine passports designed to force conservatives to take the experimental vaccine and the boosters forever. But again, like all these things, vaccine passport and these type of things, they were already being talked about under Trump. They were trying to legislate the creation of COVID camps for people who refuse to comply. That was also under Trump. They wanted to find people, lock them up, keep them under house arrest, and even take their children away. All that talk was under Trump. That talk began under Trump, okay? It's biblical. God will be seen as evil, and evil will be seen as good. Or good will be seen, excuse me. Good will be seen as evil. Heavens and earth shall pass, but not the word of God. Amen. Amen. Woe unto them who treat good as evil and evil is good. They wanted to find people, lock them up, keep them under house arrest, even take their children away. They shut down the economy, ordered people to wear useless masks, told people to stay 6 feet apart. They closed down outdoor recreation. They violated every fundamental of viral science in an insane effort to dominate the world. So this is the thing, man. All this stuff was under Trump. Okay, all this, every single thing he named here began under Trump, not under Biden. It was Biden kind of finished it. Okay, fair enough, but Trump began it. All this stuff, every single one of these policies, every single one that he named in this paragraph began in the Trump administration. Okay, moving on. To this day, there are still leftists that wear the mask as a symbol of their fealty to the COVID dictatorship. You try to make it, oh, it's all about the left, you know? It's like, anyway, so simplistic. So the problem was they greatly underestimated public resistance to their agenda, and it failed. Now they face a reckoning for their power mongering. Okay, yeah, you know what? This January 6th propaganda that was pretty wild. Let's see. Mass conservative protests are pretty rare. We tend to endure quietly and wait for a reason to win the day. Or wait for reason to win the day. Sorry. Violence is not usually in the cards until we are pushed to the brink. This is exactly what happened on January 6th. Video evidence shows Capitol Police fired rubber bullets and tear gas grenades into a peaceful and unarmed crowd of protesters. This attack led directly to the crowd fighting back and eventually razing the building itself. Then the police ultimately opened the doors to the building and let people wander in. Those protesters walked around for a couple hours and then left on their own. It's not what an insurrection looks like. Yeah, that's true. Excuse me. Afterwards, Democrats cherry-picked limited footage from the event and claimed it was an attack on democracy akin to treason. They lied incessantly and staged the narrative that conservatives were domestic terrorists bent on installing Trump as a totalitarian leader. Americans have been through this nonsense, and the election shows it. The Biden admin spent the better part of economic denial. The last 4 years trying to deny the reality of stagflation. Stagflation. This is when you have a stagnant economy, but you still have inflation, you know? And this is a very bad situation for an economy. They've also denied that the economy continues to decline, asserting that the country is in recovery, that the job market is improving, and that inflation is going down. None of this is true. Inflation is cumulative, and just because yeah, that's true. Inflation is cumulative. And just because CPI goes down does not mean prices are going down. Yeah, the CPI is the consumer price index, right? That's how they kind of track inflation, right? But what the problem is that so what they do is they'll have this basket of goods, they call it, right? So it's like different goods like bacon, milk, cars, clothes, whatever, right? They'll have different items and they'll check the prices on those items. Okay, have they gone up? Well, how much they cost now? And then they'll say, okay, based on okay, all of these items have gone up. How much did they go up? What's the percentage? What's the average? And then that's your inflation, quote unquote. Inflation, right? But what they do to manipulate it is they remove or put in different items. So they always keep it kind of under what true inflation is. This CPI is never going to really tell you what the true inflation is, you know? But he says Americans are still paying 30 to 50% more on necessities compared to 2019. That may be true. I'm not really sure exactly. It's hard to calculate these exact numbers, but it's very, very high inflation right now. On top of that, this is supposed to be an N. On top of that, national debt and consumer debt has skyrocketed to dangerous levels. National debt. You know what the national debt of America is? It's so insane. They'll never pay that back, you know? Well, what they're probably going to try to do, because their debt's so high, right, is they'll let the inflation go and go and go. I mean, they're going to say, oh, we're fighting inflation, but they're not really, right? Then if inflation goes up and up and up, then your debt is kind of going down in a way, if you know what I'm saying, because what happens is the value of money is going down, right? So that means the value of your debt is going down, right? So the goal here is to, if they inflate the money, then the debt they'll be able to pay off the debt, right? That's the idea. But the problem with that kind of strategy, and that is their strategy, it seems like it. I mean, they're not going to talk about that, but it seems like that's what they're doing. The problem with that is that regular people don't win in that game, right? Because we don't really have assets. Like when inflation goes up, if you own lots of assets, if you own lots of real estate, lots of stocks and stuff like that, gold and stuff, right? Then those things go up and up in value. So then even though things are more expensive, your net worth is going up and up and up. So you don't care, right? So rich people don't care about inflation. It's good for them. You know, but for poor people or for even middle class people, it's very difficult, right? If you're like a middle class guy with a house and a car, yeah, your house is going to go up in value, so that's kind of good, but it's also more expensive for you to maintain your house, maintain your car, and all these other things. So all those costs go up. Eventually, it might lead to you have to downgrade your home or something like that. And for people who don't have a home or don't own assets like that, it's just a tax. It's just everything's just going up and becoming more and more expensive, and their income is not going to rise at the same rate as inflation, right? Anyway, I'll keep reading here. Sexualization and transing of children. Leave the kids alone. It was a simple warning from conservatives and leftists refused to listen. Now they're going to pay dearly. The woke movement to push trans ideology in public schools is perhaps the most evil scheme our civilization has ever encountered. This is hilarious. I mean, these people set this. It's all like one thing, right? One system that set up this weird sexual thing that they try to push on kids. And although the right wing politicians will say their lip service against this type of thing, they're part of the same system that's leading this system in to sexualize kids and all this stuff, you know. Gender fluidity is a non-science fantasy with no basis. The other thing, you know, what the other thing about this is like this trans thing, because they'll say, "Oh, the trans thing is dumb. The trans thing is just a myth. You just made it up." But then they'll 100% these rightists, right? They'll 100% support the idea of sexual orientation. You know, like the idea that some people are just born gay or whatever, and some people are born hetero, or some people are like bisexual or whatever. All that stuff is a bunch of nonsense. Okay, this is what it is. You have a natural reproductive system, right? Even if you don't believe in God. I mean, we obviously believe in God, so we know God gave us that system, and it works based on having sex with mature people of the opposite sex. So when you have a sexual attraction to those people, that is a healthy aspect of your natural sexual reproductive system, right? And so if you're attracted to anything other than mature people of the opposite sex, that means that your sexual reproductive system is not working properly. You have some kind of dysfunction or a pathology or, you know, something like that. It's not healthy, it's not normal, right? So a lot of this trans thing, the rightists like Trump, they'll be like, okay, get rid of that stuff. Get rid of this trans ideology in schools. Get rid of the thing about giving kids puberty blockers. They'll say that, right? But he'll fully support the idea of sexual orientation. So this is what I'm saying when I say they take 2 steps left and 1 step right. Because remember, just in 2008 when Obama was running, he was against gay marriage. And now they're literally trying to turn little kids into transgenders, you know? So that's how they do it. And now they're gonna say, oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of this leftist wokist stuff. We're gonna get rid of that stuff. We're gonna bring the trans ideology kids, get that stuff out of schools, and no more puberty blockers for kids, right? And so the people on the right will be like, yeah, we won, guys. And then on the but they'll never now the idea that of like sexual orientation, that's just like it's part of our culture now. You cannot get rid of that. Now. That's just on the right and the left, they both accept that completely, you know? And then now next time the leftists win, then they're just gonna bring back this woke thing. What are you gonna do? You know? Or even if you say, okay, maybe there's gonna be this kind of conservative revival or whatever, that may be true, but they're still never gonna get rid of the sexual orientation stuff and stuff like that. So it's not like the right is gonna have some great comeback or anything. USA will transform into Africa if it continues that way. Same for Europe. Oh, the woke thing. Yeah, obviously, mass immigration from the third world to these white countries is probably not a good idea. I don't think it's very good. I mean, I'm a product of it, but even me, like I can see that, you know, it probably would have been better if my family had stayed in Guyana. But it would have been bad for my family because what the thing is, when they push these, when they do this thing where they try to like bring all the people in from the third world to the white countries, right? They don't just open their borders and just wait for the people to come. They also go to those third world countries and destabilize them and cause tensions there and cause these factors that push people out. So at the same time, so that's what they did in, like, for example, in my country, Guyana, my parents' country, right? They, at the same time as they were opening the borders in Canada and England and all of these countries, America and stuff, they're opening the borders to immigration from like non-white countries, right? But at the same time, they're like destabilizing these third world countries. Like in my country, Guyana, they said the CIA was like, they disrupted the election and all this stuff because the guy was like a communist kind of, right? And so then when this guy that ended up winning, then he was like not favorable to my parents or my people like that, so they wanted to get out. So then they came to Canada, and that's what they do. That's what they do, man. Anyway, in terms of poverty, yeah. Oh, the inflation, yeah, it's so bad, man. Yeah, that's part of it too. Like the part of the thing with the inflation thing, I don't think it's gonna be like Africa bad, but what they want to do is set it up so it's more like kind of like China, where you have this very tiny like middle class that's just like basically like useful idiots for the rich, and then you have the rich, right? This is a very tiny elite, and then you have this like very razor thin middle class, and then everybody else is basically poor. They're paupers, you know. China, India, right? And they're gonna have they want to get America, Canada, and these countries to be more like that. And also what you see in China, for instance, is this social control through social media and stuff. That's really, it's wild, like how they control the people and stuff. The people, they monitor them constantly, and like you can't, if you say certain things or do certain things, you can like lose, like you can lose your freedom. You can, like, they'll be like, oh, you owe money, so that means you can't go on the train, you know? Or you said this thing that the party doesn't approve of. Okay, that means you can't leave your province. That's what they do in China, and that's how they want to set things up here. But it's hard because the people aren't completely idiots. They underestimate the people, I think, like with the COVID thing, people weren't that dumb to fall for that as they thought, At first, people were like kind of like, oh, okay, well, we better do what we're told. We don't want to rock the boat. But then eventually people are just like, wait a minute, this is weird. Like, you shut down the whole world? Why? My country got destabilized plenty of time and it got poor after war. Yeah. But it's not like an East Asia, poor, therefore dirty. So it's not all destabilization. It's also culture, people not caring at all. Yeah. A lot of it, that happens too, because these countries, they've kind of betrayed their people, right? So the people don't have this, like 100 years ago in Canada, when they were like, oh, okay, we have to go fight the war, guys. Then everyone in Canada was like, okay, let's go, let's sign up, But nowadays, man, people are just like, they'll be like, what? Why are you trying to start a war over there? What are you doing? Even America didn't want to go to World War II, eh? They didn't. And that's why even like at the time when when Pearl Harbor happened, right? A lot of Americans thought the FDR allowed that thing. Like he knew it was going to happen, but he just didn't say anything so that he could get America into the war. There was like 10 congressional investigations into that. Most Americans don't even know about that. You don't learn that in history class in America, right? But that's true. After World War II, there were 10 congressional investigations into the idea that Delano, what's his name, man? FDR, right? That FDR actually allowed them to bomb Pearl Harbor. There was 10 investigations into it. They don't even talk about that, man. I mean, most Americans don't even know that. I don't know which Americans here, if you guys are American, do you know? Did you know that there was 10 investigations by the Congress into whether FDR allowed Pearl Harbor to happen? Mass censorship and government collusion with big tech. Dude, I did not even know. See, voters didn't know that. See that? They don't teach you that in school in America. The Biden-Harris administration has been thoroughly busted, first by the exposure of the Twitter files and then by big tech leaders like Zuckerberg. It is a fact. The federal government worked directly with legacy media and social media conglomerates to silence public dissent. This is interesting. I don't know too much about this. I mean, I've heard some stuff, but I don't know how much evidence they actually have for this. Because obviously these people will say, we'll talk it up as if everybody knows and it's all proven. But then when you actually look into it, they don't really know. Yeah, you see, people don't know that. They don't teach you that stuff in school. They'll be like, oh yeah, America. Yeah, we all wanted to go to fight the Nazis and stuff. You know, actually, what they were telling Americans didn't even care about the Nazis. Okay, nobody believed in the so-called the event that begins with a H that you're not allowed to deny, right? That nobody believed in that in America, right? So what happened? The story was like Eisenhower was telling the Americans that they needed to save Poland from the Russians because Poland was this country that, you know, they were like freedom and stuff, right? They didn't want Poland. If Poland fell to the communists, that was like a disaster, right? So that was the big thing. And that's kind of partly why, like after the war, then Eisenhower knew that they were going to let Russia have Poland, right? So then they were like, okay, what are we going to do? So then Eisenhower started talking about like that event, you know, that starts with the H, you know that one? That's when they started pushing that thing. Anyway, race grifting and calling Latinos Latinx. Democratic woke activists treat minorities as their property of the political party. That's true. But you know what? 80% of black people voted for Kamala. I didn't know that. But then you know what? It was 90% last time. So it's like actually come down. But I didn't realize that. I mean, I kind of knew that. I knew like Democrats kind of own the black vote, but I didn't know it was that crazy. But yeah. Clearly minorities are getting tired of being treated like they're stupid. Yeah, that's true. One big factor I think really crippled Democrats in this election is the woke attempt to degender the Spanish language by calling Latinos Latinx. Yeah, so dumb. Okay, moving on. This is the narrative on the right, you know. Oh, minorities don't need your help, liberal women, white liberal women. They don't need your help, your protection, or your pity. Oh wow, so this is so bad, dude. This is so like hateful rhetoric, you know. Open borders and the Great Replacement. Okay. The Great Replacement has been falsely portrayed by the corporate media as a racist theory, but race has nothing to do with it. The replacement issue is about culture, not skin color. No, that's not true. It's about skin color. So it's clearly about skin color. The Burns offering, amen. There's an obvious effort on the part of the progressive. Okay, so the Great Replacement theory, right? So it used to be the theory, or they would call it. Sometimes they would call it white genocide, right? This is the theory that the powers that be, right, are trying to like bring all these third world immigrants, such as my parents, you know, to bring them to the West, to the white countries, right? And then eventually they'll like outnumber the whites and they'll marry them and stuff. And so then eventually there'll be no more white race. That's like an idea that exists, right? It's called the white genocide theory, you know, which there's some evidence for. Like there was this guy named let me show you this guy. Anyway, this article's dumb, right? So let's move on. But there's this guy Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi. If you talk about this, if you talk about this, what I'm about to say to you guys, then you'll just be cut off from any kind of like polite company in any kind of like university setting or in a major corporation or anything like that. So don't talk about this anywhere else. But I'm just going to talk about it to you now. So this guy was the Count of Coudenhove Kalergi. Okay, I think he's from Austria. Yeah, he's from Austria. Okay, so he was like a an aristocrat, you know, and so he was the pioneer of European integration. You see, and he was the founding president of the Pan-European Union. The Pan-European Union. You know how they have the European Union now? This is the kind of the forerunner to that. Okay. That started off in like the early 20th century. But what's interesting about this guy is he wanted to set up this pan-European thing, so all Europe would be like kind of one country type of thing, right? And then what he also wanted to do is import as many people as he could from like the third world, like India, Africa, and places like that, so that they would marry the white people, and then there would eventually be no more white race. I mean, I'm serious. He literally said this. This is literally his idea. And it's funny because what he wanted, and this is the weirdest part, is that he wanted the Jews to rule over them. Anyway, so yeah, you see how even his father, the old counts, allegedly rose because supposedly they were saying this thing in the liturgy about let us also pray for the perfidious Jews. They're praying for them, man. What's your problem, dude? Because they called them perfidious, then the old count allegedly rose and walked out of the church in protest. I want to see if they give you this quote. This quote that they used to have this quote on here, man. They took it like Wikipedia gets scrubbed. It's like Wikipedia is like basically leftist nonsense too. But so they used to have this quote on his Wikipedia page about what he was saying about the Jews and the whites and all this stuff. What I was just telling you, but then they don't. But they don't talk about it anymore. But anyway, they had this thing for the Popular Movement for United Europe, right? In 1923, published the Manifesto Pan Europa. Anyway, it's possible I could find this quote for you guys, but it's going to take me a while. His book is in German, so you have to like basically copy paste it and then translate it. Hitler's view of Coudenhove Kalergi was that the rootless, cosmopolitan, and elitist half-breed was going to repeat the historical mistakes of his ancestors, serve the House of Habsburg. Anyway, so the Nazis obviously hated him, but that's probably a fake too. But so he fled to Czechoslovakia when Hitler invaded Austria. Crusade for Pan-Europe. Nazis took away his Doctor of Philosophy degree. End of the thing. Anyway, so that quote's probably not here, but I'm gonna find it for you. Views on race and religion. In his 1925 book, Practical Idealism, Coudenhove-Kalergi theorized that the historical development causing the death of European hereditary social classes would lead to an all-encompassing race of the future made up of Eurasian Negroids. See this? See what I'm saying? He literally thought that and this guy's like one of the aristocrats of Europe. He's like he's one of them, right? And he's like saying he's trying to lead Europe to the death of the European hereditary social class. That's like he's talking about like the royal families and the aristocrats of Europe, all those people. He's saying he wants that to end, right? And what does he want? He wants to. It would lead to an all. This is so weird. It's so wild and crazy. Like an all-encompassing race of the future, made up of Eurasian Negroids, would replace the diversity of peoples and today's races and classes with the diversity of individuals. So they're just commie weirdos, you know. But I don't even know what this guy is like. What am I? Look when I look. Yeah, this is global homo beginnings. Yeah, that's true. Look at Germany now. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Hey, Kenneth, what's up, brother? God bless you, my man. So anyway, so he wanted to create this Eurasian Negroids race, you know? But it's like, I don't know. Let's see what they say here. But in an interview in the first Pan-European Congress in 1926, he expressed his support of Jews by the Pan-European movement and the benefits to Jews with the elimination of racial hatred and economic rivalry brought by the United States of Europe. See how he's like into Jews and stuff, but they're not telling you, look, this stuff, the stuff this guy was saying is way wilder than what they're showing you here. Okay, maybe we could check out the book or something. Hold on, let me see. In 1932, Coudenhove-Kalergi composed and had his publishing house reissue a preface for a new edition of his father, Heinrich Coudenhove-Kalergi's condemnation of anti-Semitism in his later life. In 1933, he responded to the ascendance of Nazism by collaborating with Heinrich Mann, Arthur Hollitscher, Lion Feuchtwanger, and Max Brod, it's probably Brod, in writing and publishing the pamphlet. Excuse me. Gegen die Phrase vom jüdischen Schadling. Against the phrase Jewish parasite. Interesting. Interesting stuff, Coudenhove-Kalergi. Let's see about his book. See how it's like it's in Austrian, you know? Look at this. Der Mensch, der Fernen. Oh, you know what? I bet you this is kind of like what he's talking about. Let me see what this says. Okay, let's read. The people of the distant future will be mixed race. Today's races and castes will fall victim to the increasing overcoming of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, externally similar to the ancient Egyptian, will replace the diversity of peoples within a diversity with a diversity of personalities. So what he's trying to say is that he wants to eliminate race, but have so everyone's kind of the same race, but then we have different personalities. This is never going to happen, of course, right? This is just pie in the sky retardery. But the fact is, that's what he thought. But did I show you? There's another part of this quote where he talks about how the Jews are going to rule everyone. That's the thing that they're not saying here, you know? Oh, wait. Okay. You guys saw. All right. So, anyway, so that's the quote from Coudenhove-Kalergi. If you guys, hope you guys can read that. But let me try to find this so we can see a bit more. Okay. Maybe we could get this. Oh, wait. Hang on. Sorry. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to page 30. Inbreeding strengthens the character and weakens the mind. Interbreeding weakens the character and strengthens the mind. What kind of weird nonsense these people are. Anyway, man of the distant future will be a hybrid. Today's races will fall victim to the growing defeat of space-time and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, outwardly similar to the ancient Egyptian, will replace the diversity of peoples with the diversity of individuals. For according to the laws of heredity, I don't know, can you guys read that or is that too small? Hang on. We're going to the laws of heredity. Difference increases with the dissimilarity of ancestors. And the monotony of offspring increases with the uniformity of ancestors. In inbred families, one child is like another because they all represent one common family type. In mixed families, the children differ strongly from each other. Each forms a new type of variation of divergent parental and ancestral elements. Anyway, you know what? They used to have this theory called, there's this thing called heterozygosity when your cells, so they used to have this theory that when they mix the races, the child will be even stronger because they'll eliminate these genetic problems and stuff, right? But that's actually probably not the case. It's probably the case that mixed race children end up having slightly more health problems, not a lot more, but there tends to be some more health problems with that type of thing. The precursor of the planetary man of the future in modern Europe is the Russian as a Slavic Tatar Finnish hybrid, because he Slavic Tatar Finnish hybrid. Wow, dude. Because he, among all the peoples of Europe, has the least race and is the typical man of multiple souls with a broad, rich, all-encompassing soul. Anyway, there's this thing about this. You should hear what this guy talks about the Jews, man. Unbelievable stuff that this guy was saying about Jews, like how they should rule Europe and stuff. Paganism and two soul types struggle for world domination: paganism and Christianity. These soul types have only superficial relationships with the denominations that bear these names. If the focus shifts from the dogmatic to the ethical, from the mythological to the psychological, then Buddhism is transformed into ultra Christianity. This guy's so naive about this stuff. While Americanism emerges as modernized paganism. That's true. The Orient is the main carrier of the Christian mentality. The Occident, that's the West. Like they call the Orient is the East and the Occident is the West, okay? Is the main carrier of the pagan mentality. The pagan Chinese are better Christians than the Christian Germans. Yeah, right. Paganism places vigor at the forefront of the ethical value scale. Anyway, let's check out the I wish I could find this quote about this guy, what he said about the Jews. It was unbelievable, man. Unbelievable stuff. Part 1, on rural and urban people: rural man, urban man, nobleman, men of letters, gentleman, bohemian, inbreeding, interbreeding, pagan and Christian mentality, crisis of the nobility, reign of the mind instead of reign of the sword, twilight of the nobility, plutocracy, hereditary nobility and the nobility of the future, Jewry and the nobility of the future. Let's check it out. Okay. The primary supports of both the corrupt and the upright intellectual nobility. Let me see what you guys comments here. Hey Angelo, sports science. Is that theory still widely believed? I remember being taught that in high school biology. Oh, the theory about heterozygosity. Um, yeah, it is actually widely believed, but I don't think it's very well supported with the actual experimental literature. You know what I mean? But it is widely supported because it's political. You know, that's the thing. Science is so political now that's why those kind of things stay alive. You know. We need a good alternative to YouTube, but the same entities control. Yeah, yeah. You're not going to get any alternative. I mean, the alternative is just going to be under control as well, right? BitChute, Rumble, whatever. Many of us are probably already on list is with big money. Yeah, we're on list, man. They need to feed it AI and make the one world government by having a database on everyone. Yeah, man. They want to see everything you're doing, man. So the primary supports of both the corrupt and upright intellectual nobility of capitalism, journalism, and the literary profession are Jews. Of both the corrupt and the upright. So there's corrupt nobility and there's upright, that is righteous or good nobility. And the support is mainly for Jews. The superiority of their spirit predestines them to be a major factor in the future nobility. See what I'm saying? This is how this guy talks, man. Look at the history of the Jewish people explains their lead in the struggle for leadership of mankind. 2 millennia ago, the Jews were a religious community composed of ethically and religiously inclined individuals from all nations of the ancient cultural world. From all nations. What kind of foolish nonsense is that? With a national Hebraic center in Palestine. I mean, I guess there's people, but they're not ethnically. Ethically religious. Okay, yeah, okay, but they're not from all these. I mean, they're not from all nations. They're from one nation, the Jews nation, Israel. At that time, what was common, unifying and primary, was not the nation but religion. Okay, in the course of the first millennia of our era, I mean, I don't think the Jews saw it that way. Like they weren't that religious, but they saw themselves as a nation, as an ethnic group, as a race. Anyway, at that time, what was common, unifying, and primary was not the nation but religion. In the course of the first millennium of our era, proselytes from all peoples entered this religious community. Most recently, the king, nobility, and people of the Mongolian Khazars. Yeah. You know, there's this theory about the Khazars, how the Ashkenazi Jews are Khazars. The lords of southern Russia. Only from then on did the Jewish religion community form an artificial national community and isolate itself from all other peoples. Okay, so what he's saying is that the Jews only became isolationists after the Khazar thing. For 1,000 years, Christian Europe has been trying to eradicate the Jewish people through unspeakable persecutions. The result was that all Jews who were weak-willed, unscrupulous, opportunistic, or skeptical were baptized, thereby escaping the torments of endless persecution. On the other hand, all Jews who were not skillful, clever, and inventive enough to survive the struggle for existence in this most difficult form perished under these often difficult living conditions. So finally, a small community emerged from all these persecutions, tempered by a heroically endured martyrdom for the idea and purified of all weak-willed and weak-minded elements. Instead of destroying the Jews, Europe reluctantly refined them through this artificial process of selection and educated them into a leading nation of the future. No wonder then this people who emerged from the prison of the ghetto developed into a spiritual nobility of Europe. Thus, as the feudal nobility fell into decline, a benevolent providence bestowed upon Europe, through the emancipation of the Jews, a new noble race of spiritual grace. The first typical representative of this emerging future nobility was the revolutionary noble Jew, La Salle, who combined beauty of the body with the gallantry of character and sharpness of mind to a high degree. An aristocrat in the highest and truest sense of the word, he was born anyway. Jews are not the new nobility, rather Jewry is the womb from which a new spiritual nobility of Europe will emerge. An intellectual urban master race is forming. Wow, dude. Idealists. witty and sensitive, just the truth. This is like, I mean, this guy is the enemy of Hitler, right? But he still also uses this phrase master race. But he thinks of the Jews as the master race. You know how, like, the irony of this, the absolute like irony of this whole thing, this whole document, man. Wow, dude. I can't even believe I'm reading this. But this is you haven't even read the thing, the quote that I'm telling you guys about, right? Which I can't find right now. It's so wild what this guy says. It's so insanely wild. The Jewish heroes and martyrs of the Eastern and Central European Revolution are in no way inferior to the non-Jewish heroes of the World War in terms of courage, perseverance, and idealism, while they often surpass them in spirit. Okay, with these two attempts to salvation spiritual, the Jews bestowed discerned masses of Europe. Modern anti-Semitism is main roots of anti-Semitism, having emerged from an international religion. Anyway, look, I'll find the quote. We'll look at it later. I don't know. This is kind of boring, right? But I'm telling you, man, these people, that whole, so what was I even talking about this? We're talking about white genocide, right? And I'm just saying that was a real thing. There literally was people trying to do this. They were not nobodies. This guy was the head, the founding member of the founder of the Pan-European Union. He was literally the founder of it. Okay. And he's one of these like high diplomat, high society people in Europe. He's like a major player, and this guy was teaching this stuff. And he literally wanted to do a white genocide. He literally wanted to do it. So the idea that the white genocide thing is just some stupid conspiracy theory is just historically illiterate foolishness, But if you try to talk about this, you're going to get called a racist and all this stuff. But this is just history. This is literally, I mean, you can just look it up online. It's right there, right? But this is what I'm telling you, man. These people, Anyway, I don't want to hate on the Jews because I love the Jews. I'm not trying to say anything about the Jews, but I'm just saying there is a literal thing called white genocide. But anyway, so then okay, so that was the original thing of the Great Replacement theory, right? But now when they talk about Great Replacement theory, what they usually mean is that this program by like Democrats and people like that to bring in as many immigrants, especially Mexicans and stuff, that they can bring in, because then they can try to get them to vote and get them to vote left, right? That's what they think. But actually, a lot of the Mexicans and a lot of those people, they end up voting right because they're not stupid idiots, So that's why this thing's not going to work out for them, But anyway, I don't know what else to talk about this election business, you guys. You want to see what they're saying on Yeah, that's true too. What Pickleball's saying too, how it's mostly these people from Central and South America, but they're coming through Mexico, right? Or a lot of them are anyway. They walk all the way. They'll walk all the way from like wherever, like Panama or whatever. They'll just walk all the way through Mexico and everything. It's wild, dude. Anyway, okay, let's check out or let's see what's on I don't even know. Let's see what YouTube has to say about the election. The exact moment Trump won the election. Oh, you guys want to see how these CBC leftist weirdos? This is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. They're actually funded by our government, and they're basically communists. So I like to see. It might be interesting to see what they. Yeah, that's true because actually Mexican economy is like coming up and stuff, and so it's actually not that much of a benefit to a lot of Mexicans for them to go to America. It's better for them to just stay where they are. But some of those other countries, yeah, it's like, Anyway, let's see what these guys say, because this is the CBC. They're basically communists. But let's see. Actually, let's see what these Canadian people. Actually, who cares? Let's see what this guy says.
These early leads didn't necessarily mean anything. Kamala Harris was losing from the very start.
Former President Trump will win the state of Indiana.
He leads 19 electoral college votes to 3.
You see how he's piling up the electoral votes?
Now, these early leads didn't necessarily mean anything. Those first polls closed in predominantly Republican states: Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina. One by one, they all turned red, entirely as expected, with only a small handful of states turning blue: Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, DC. Again, as expected. But for all
Wait, turning blue? But those are already blue states, right? Vermont, DC, those are already blue states, aren't they? I guess when they mean turning blue, it just means that they won. I don't think he means like becoming a blue state from a red state.
Massachusetts, Maryland, DC. Again, as expected. But for all the early talk that Harris had good reason to be optimistic,
Organizers for the Democrats are quite happy with the turnout in Philadelphia.
She is doing better with young voters in Georgia than Joe Biden was doing against Trump 4 years ago.
within just a couple of hours, every major news organization sounded a bit more like this.
There's a lot of red on that map. A lot of red on that map.
I don't think she can do it.
How did that happen? And what was the moment everything changed?
Dude, just so though, it's like, this is what they think. Like, I don't know, like anybody who's like a normal person looking at the elections, just thinking about talking to people or just thinking about what's going on. Everybody thought Trump was going to win. Everybody, you know, the only way you think that he's not going to win is if you actually believe mainstream news, you know, if you're one of these people who thinks, okay, CNN has a poll and so I should just believe them. Well, then you might think that it's a close race, but anybody who's kind of like aware that the media is lying, they would know right away. Everybody knew, man. Democrat strategist issues hard truth to party members after losing election. Let's see what these people say.
Julie Roginski, I want to go to you on this because, of course, he is making the speech at the White House against this backdrop of a lot of finger pointing right now in the Democratic Party. Some who are saying, look, had President Biden not announced, to try to get reelected, and we all know how that transpired later on, perhaps this wouldn't be the situation. And we'll never be able to know, right? What do you say to that?
No, I'm going to speak some hard truths to my friends in the Democratic Party. This is not Joe Biden's fault. It's not Kamala Harris's fault. It's not Barack Obama's fault. It is the fault of the Democratic Party in not knowing how to communicate effectively to voters. We are not the party of common sense, which is what the message that voters sent to us. For a number of reasons, we don't know how to speak to voters. When we address Latina, and language has meaning. When we address Latino voters as Latinx, for instance, because that's the politically correct thing to do. It makes them think that we don't even live on the same planet as they do. When we are too afraid to say that, hey, college.
So she's being kind of real, I guess, kind of, but like, I guess that's what Democrats have to say, right? So she believes the Democratic line, but she's trying to point out their errors in strategy, right? I guess this is kind of interesting, kind of.
Planet as they do. When we are too afraid to say that, hey, college kids, if you're trashing a campus at Columbia University because you're unhappy about some sort of policy and you're taking over a university and you're trashing it and preventing other students from learning, that is unacceptable. But we're so worried about alienating one or another cohort in our coalition that we don't know what to say when normal people look at that and say, wait a second, I send my kids to college so they can learn, not so that they can burn buildings and trash lawns, right? And so on and so forth. When we put pronouns after names and say she, her, as opposed to saying, you know what, if I call you by the wrong pronoun, call me out, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. But stop with the virtue signaling and just speak to people like they're normal. There's nothing I'm going to say to Shermichael that I'm not going to say to you, that I'm not going to say to somebody else. I speak the same language to everybody. But that's not what Democrats do. We constantly try to parse out different ways of speaking to different cohorts because our focus groups or our polling shows that so-and-so appeals to such and such. That's not how normal people think. It's not common sense. And we need to start being the party of common sense again. Joe Biden is not responsible for that. Neither is Kamala Harris. It is a problem that Democrats have had for years. I've been banging the drum on this for, I don't know how, probably 10 years, if not longer on this. We need to get back to being the party of common sense, that people look at us and say, we understand you. We appreciate what you say because
you guys were never the party of common sense, man. What a joke. When were they the party of common sense? What a joke. What a joke. Anyway, I guess I'll let this play for a bit. Let's see what else.
Our language. And until we do that, we should stop blaming other people for our own mistakes.
Let's watch Biden's speech.
President Biden speaking now at the White House.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Good to see this cabinet and the staff together here. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's good to see you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. Mm-hmm. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort, and she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. You know, the struggle for the soul of America since our very founding has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent.
I think, well, even like, I mean, people will just say, obviously, once again, I will suggest to you that it's always rigged. And last time when they rigged it, as they always do, they simply put the evidence of their rigging out into the public so that people would be aware that they rigged it and know that they don't have any choice, you know? And then if people think that now they won because the right was so much ahead of everyone. No, it's just that they knew that. They know the right. They know they have to let the right win because they know people are backlashing against the left. So they let the right win, but the right's under control too, right? So everybody's they're all playing for the same team, and it's not your team.
And it can be trusted, win or lose. I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took risks at the outset. We should thank them. Thank them for staffing voting sites, counting the votes, protecting the very integrity of the election. Many of them are volunteers.
Anyway, this is
who do it simply out of love for their country.
I don't know what's like kind of interesting related to the election that we could look at, guys. Anything? Is there any ideas? I don't really even know. Cop killer found not guilty. Angry Protestants open mic challenge. That's done. See if there's any lives going on. Jones admits he's ducking Aspinall. Oh, you know what I saw? I saw these, like, there's these Freemason guys that were having this weird live thing. Like, it was so bizarre, dude. But there's a lot of these, like, Freemason channels that'll be doing, like, this live stuff now. Hang on. Mason TV, no. Tom Hanks is low-key terrifying. It's weird. Anyway, I don't know, guys. You guys have any idea about what I could put on for something to look at about the election? Biden, after being put down, also lost the dementia. I know, it's hilarious. Well, he remembers where he's at the speech, so I couldn't help it. No, it's true. He looks better than he has for the whole time, because the whole like Biden's going senile thing, that was probably an act as well. I don't know, what am I looking at, dude? Inside a Freemason gathering. The secret world of female Freemasons. What? Anyway, you know what, guys? I don't know. I don't really. Sorry, I don't have that much content because I'm not political. You know, I don't really care about politics, so that's why I can't think of anything to talk about this election. I don't care. It's fake, you know. I understand Trump won. It's very good. I'm happy for the Americans. Okay, you're gonna have 4 years of policies that are not completely insane. All right, that's what you can look forward to, America. It's not saying that he's on your side. He's certainly not. He's certainly not your friend or anything. But yeah, it's like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to look at. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think we should look at according to like political stuff? Or let me wrap up. Why don't I wrap it up and then we'll do something tomorrow, okay? I know it's not. I know we usually go a little bit longer, but I don't know. I don't have any ideas really of what to show you guys about the election because I'm not political anymore. I used to be so political. Yeah. At least for the next 4 years, it'll be not in complete insanity. Yeah, and there might be kind of like this right wing thing kind of coming back, so you might see some more policies that are at least not completely stupid. Yeah. Thanks, bro. I know. I swear, it's so sad. All these Christians that think Trump is like a Christian or whatever. It's so sad. So incredibly sad. But yeah, I don't know, guys. So I was looking for something to look at, but I don't really have anything. So maybe I'll just call it a night, okay? But we could but I'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna have a live on Proverbs chapter 6. So please join us. And I might do a live on Saturday too. So but anyway. I don't know. People kept that stronghold that women shouldn't be leaders. So is it true that no women has won it yet? Even now? Wow. Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah. That's right, bro. Bible studying and notes. Amen. All right, brothers. God bless y'all. Thanks for coming out. I know it is sad, bro. But anyway. All right, my brothers and sisters, God bless you. Thanks for coming around to the show. And oh yeah, well, we can talk about that. I don't think it's as much of a big deal as people make it out to be. Like, first of all, the horse is pale. It's not green. Okay? Pale is not green. I guess maybe in the Greek they say it's like green or something. I don't know. I think I heard something like that, like how it's like green in the Greek or something. Let's take a look at that before I go. So Revelation 6, right? And I saw and behold a horse. So this is the white horse, and then we have the red, then you have the black, and then this is the pale. All right, wait. Pale horse. Chloros. Oh, it is green in Greek. Chloros. That's the word we get chloroform from. Or what's the thing in plants that makes them green? What do they call that? Is it chloro? Anyway. But yeah, so I guess that's why people say it's a green horse, right? Because it's got this word chloros, and chloros means green apparently. So, and then they say that all the Arabic countries have red, white, and red and black and green flags, or there's many of them that have that. Therefore, the Arabic countries are the four horsemen, but I would say that is a stretch. It's not taking a close look at what the Bible is actually saying here. Like, first of all, these four horsemen, in my opinion, these are the angels of God. They're not our enemies. They're like good guys, you know, but they are gonna cause lots of problems or whatever. But chlorophylla. Oh, this might be in Portuguese, but in English they call it what do they call that thing, man? Thing that makes plants green. What do they call it? What is chlorophyll? Oh, it's chlorophyll. This is how we spell it. See, that's the Portuguese one, but we spell it like this here in English. The two L's. So, but thanks for that, Liliana. That's helpful to know that. Now I can speak a little bit more Portuguese. Obrigado, Liliana. But yeah, anyway. So I'm gonna call it a night early today, guys. But thanks so much for coming by, and I'll talk to you guys soon. And thanks for watching. And by the way, Liliana, we'll talk some more about the colors thing, about the four horsemen thing. I'll do some more discussion about that, okay? But anyway, thanks so much for coming, guys. And God bless you. And thanks for watching Toronto Bible Study. Hallelujah.
Okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike, Sam, Pat, These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you want to support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shields. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks. Becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike Sampat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.